planes head in the right direction, but 90% of the time are adjusting to get back on course. So thank you so much for that message. So carry on. I'm liking all of the tweets that are coming on through, so keep those coming. And Stefan, who is our next speaker, has been really organised and given me his Twitter handle already. So his is @Stefan Stoiber, and you can get the spelling behind me. And I've been assured that I have pronounced his name correctly, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so Stefan, a curious, creative, lateral thinker. He founded Create Meaning, a company that is dedicated to empower entrepreneurs to build conscious businesses to make a difference. And Stefan's talk is going to be Create Meaning, build a business that makes a difference. So give it up, everyone, for Stefan Stoiber.
Thank you. Oh, doesn't work. All right, so from my side, hello, and as you see by the organization, I'm German, right? So I flew all the way from Berlin here to be with you guys, and I'm really excited because I get the first time the opportunity to share a very personal story with you. So I thought I'd take you back to a time, and that's why we need to all jump into this time machine and travel into the year 2005, which was the first, in August, 1st of August, the first day of my work. And I started my career after studying graphic design in a company called BBDO, which is a massive advertising agency. And in advertising, basically what you do, you use your ideas and strategies to promote product, services, and brands, and to make basically companies successful, right? Sounds amazing. And we had so much time. I worked with some really brilliant people, from photographers to filmmakers to like my colleagues there. Like it was an incredible time till I watched this video.
By the way, if anyone here is in advertising or marketing, kill yourself. Thank you. Just a little thought. I'm just trying to plant seeds. You are Satan's spawn, filling the world with bile and garbage. You are fucked and you are fucking us. Kill yourself. It's the only way to save your fucking soul. Kill yourself.
You're laughing, right? I was in advertising, right? And I just started. So this was my career, and I really loved doing it because this is what I really was good at in some ways. But I decided, instead of killing myself, I decided to look a little bit closer to what is killing the industry that I loved so much. And basically I found that the simple system of screaming to people to manipulate them to buy stuff they don't need doesn't really work. And that's why all of these people were laughing, because we all know how advertising is. And you mentioned it earlier, the fucking marketer that tells us the way we should be, right? So for me, this came then with like studying this stuff and questioning this stuff, that we need a new mindset. So if we want to connect with people and build relationship, we need to think about what these people want and need and what is valuable for them, and create something meaningful. This is also how this name for my company came about. All right, so with this insight, I thought, this is amazing. Let's take this to all of the people that run advertising agencies. And what I found was that they absolutely ignored it. They said like, yeah, you're young creative. You want to do something for the people. Nah, there's no money in this. We do the old manipulation business. And it's like, So I spent the last 11 years of my career taking it first from the marketing, then more to strategic, because when you have a good strategy, people listen to you. And then into innovation, creating new products and services, right? And I ended up running and having an own leadership consultancy and management consultancy. We're talking to top-notch people, trying to rehumanize business. And there were some successes, but most of my days felt like this. You push, you push, you push, and when you're on top of the hill, it's going back down again. And it was really, really frustrating, because again, it is not rocket science. Like, why don't we can create something meaningful with that? So something was really wrong here, and that put me on the trajectory to look even deeper. So like at first I looked into the industry and looked into the things that I understood. So then I thought like, okay, let's go deeper and look at this iceberg that we're going to with our Titanic, and we're about to crash. And basically I found then things like this, that almost no industry would be profitable if the environmental costs would be accounted into the business. Or like this, like you see like in all the fashion clients, you see like crashing factories in Bangladesh, and that's the reason why you can buy t-shirts in H&M and other companies in Primark for $5, right? Or like this, how we treat animals in food production. And again, in advertising, you have like super healthy, happy chickens running around, you know, the best farmers hanging out at the farm producing milk. That's the kind of stuff that I got paid to do in order to promote these kind of things. But that's the reality. That is the reality. So I was massively confused because, again, this is my job, right? I get paid to make companies successful. That resulted in a massive, massive, massive life crisis because it was the only thing what I learned to do, and I was really passionate about it, but I can't do this anymore. So what do you do if you're in a life crisis? And I would even say like it was a mild depression and really like really the low point of my life. When I decided to do something about it, and what you do, what really helps is actually to go camping, right? To go out in nature. So I went camping, but I went camping to a very special place, and I went camping with my friends. This is a photo was taken of the friends that I now would even call family, and I'm really lucky that one of my best friends from this crew is actually today in the audience coming here. And this place where these friends were camping is actually this place. I don't know if you've ever seen it. It's in the desert in Nevada on a festival called Burning Man. It's a week long, end of August, beginning of September, where 70,000 people come together in this deserted place, a desert, and build a humming, incredible place that is run by art, that is like bringing people together from all different sectors of the world, from all walks of life, that come together and build art together, be creative together, make love together. These people married, that's part of our camp. They married and like decided to stay together for life. So this really gave me that understanding that creating another world is possible, seeing that, experiencing that. This world, it is possible to create another world, right? Yay! But how do you do that in the default world, in the world outside of this desert? So I was really curious, like, how does this work in business? So again, I decided to make a major, to look deeper into it, and was reading all the business books I got. And funny enough, I didn't find a business thinker that said what I wanted to say. I found a guy that's absolutely, I don't know how to describe him, Buckminster Fuller. And he said a quote, "You never change things by fighting the existing reality. To change something, build a new model that makes the existing model obsolete." And this was for me like the most mind-blowing thing, because again, I was trying all my energy to fight the existing reality. But we need to build a new model that makes the old one obsolete, right? So with this idea, like that business could be that model where we care about people, where we care about the planet, and we make all, profit, but in a good way, right? With this idea, I decided to make the biggest leap of my life and jump from the corporate career and the clients that I was having. I left the management consultancy that I helped to build, that I was a partner at, to embark on this basically the biggest adventure of my life. I packed my bags and I traveled for the last 14 months around the world. And basically this is still part of this journey to some extent. And I founded a Create Meaning project because I really wanted to know how this new business world could look like. So I started by interviewing like incredible people that are already doing this work. People like this guy, Chit Liberty, left the startup world in San Francisco to found a textile production business in his home Africa, where he's from, to give people jobs. And the factories that he builds are to 49% owned by the people who work there. Incredible guy. Or Lisa and Ian, they founded a company called Eat My Lunch, where they produce healthy organic lunches that you can order to your office. But for every lunch you buy, somebody in need gets one. Or this guy, David Yeung, who started a vegetarian movement in Hong Kong and is now about to change China into a more vegetarian country. Incredible person, incredible story. And for me that really understood, and this was the first takeaway, if business is the cause for so many problems in the world, it could also be the solution. So with that, like energized by like seeing these examples out there, I decided to then use again what I've learned over the last 11 years in business to apply these skills and work with different companies. For example, with BASE. BASE is a company that uses bamboo technology to solve the housing crisis in the Philippines. Or I work with a startup accelerator called Remarkable that uses technology and founds companies to build a more inclusive society for people with disabilities. Or and this was one of the things that really touched me and really changed a lot of things in my life. I work with a tribe of Aborigines in Australia that are using their cultural framework and their cultural intelligence to bring into business so we can understand how to live and work together in a way better way. So that really understood that on this journey of that all of these businesses are on, that was for me understanding that these skills that I learned, and the only thing what I'm really good at to do, is these entrepreneurs need support from people like myself and people like us to help them on the journey to succeed. So the last part of the journey, or it was like in bits and pieces, was actually to look into my own mind, which is pretty hard. I think the hardest part of the journey was that, to really confront yourself with your own thoughts. And I spent a lot of time in different places. I went to Esalen, everyone knows it, like an incredible place in the US. I went to India, spent time in an ashram, to silent retreats, always in between these like bits and pieces to really digest what is happening, what does this do to me, what is coming up in this process. How can I also get rid a lot of the old patterns that I had from advertising, which I was trained at. And there was one quote that particularly changed my course of thinking, and this is from Aristotle. He said, when your talents and the needs of the world cross, there lies your vocation. And what it says in a bit of way is basically, what do you do best? And everybody of us has that. Like, what do you excel at? What are you interested? What is like the thing that you really, really come alive? And what does the world needs? And exactly in this intersection, this is where we have to look for where our purpose is, where our calling is, where we become the best version of ourselves and make an incredible impact to the world. So this was then my last like big breakthrough thought that I want to share with you is it's on each and every one of us to make this conscious shift. Everyone in this room, and I'm so excited actually and humbled to be here with you guys today because there's so much of that what I found during that journey, and it's so beautiful to come. It feels like coming home to a place where you're not only understood, but you're inspired by so many other thoughts that go into the room. So in a summary, creating another world is possible. So let's put people in the middle and start creating meaningful things. And let's do that by make business a solution. And not like always say, oh, how bad corporates are and all that kind of stuff. Business is a new system that we can build, and it's a transition to this new world that we want to create. Let's support these entrepreneurs that are doing this work. Let's support them with our skills, with coaching, with professional skills, but also by buying from them. With your dollars, pounds, or euros, you can vote on what kind of businesses you want to have in the world and what not. You can decide if you want to buy cheap meat in the supermarket. And use our skills and talents for good. And with that, I believe we can really start a revolution and start leading the change and build a global movement. Movement. So with that, thank you very much. And I'm excited to
such great energy coming from you, emanating into the room. So thank you so very much. So much creativity. It's wonderful to see how you're helping other companies doing great things to, translating that creativity. You also mentioned about going away, being able to absorb everything that you were taking in, so that your mind. This isn't even on.
You don't even need it. You don't even need it.
So your mind doesn't explode. So now, how do you ensure then that so what's your happy place now? How do you keep yourself so buoyed?
That's a good question. What I learned in India and which I can highly recommend. I have a daily practice now. Start my day with a meditation, and that's what I learned there. And that's really helped to keep that kind of balance. But it's a personal thing. It could be going for a run. It could be writing in your journal. But I really discovered how important it is to have a daily practice. Because the reality is, since I'm back, there's so much stuff coming at you. I mean, just the tube ride here is already like quite a stressful sensory thing. So I feel like having a daily practice is what is it for me. I feel having a routine of some sort is for everybody a crucial thing, especially in these hectical times.
Absolutely. I'm conscious of time, but there's so much to say to you, yeah. But I know that we can take a couple of questions if anyone has, yeah? There's a question over there.
If you're someone who has a lot of ideas about wanting to, if you're an entrepreneur and you want to make good things happen in the world, how do you answer the question, the difference between what the world needs and what we perceive the world needs?
I think when you really feel strongly about something, that's something you should act on. People act on different things. For example, like I personally saw that need in business, and I didn't felt that it was answered in the way that I personally saw. Other people see the need in different things, in like whatever, in the way we produce our food, and the way we in the refugee crisis, and they feel really pulled to do this. So what I can say, like what you feel drawn to, and it's your understanding of the world. You shouldn't do something that you're not necessarily feel connected to. So in my case, it was business. In other cases, there's different things. So whatever is it for you. And then I think what's important to understand is also, just because you have a calling doesn't mean you can be unprofessional. That's one really important thing to understand. The quality of business. Business is a harsh place. Again, in general, being an entrepreneur, it's like a roller coaster ride. But you need to be professional also to get that impact that you're dreaming of. So I think that's the balance between two. So either you start with ramping up your skills till the point where you're feeling like now I can apply them, or you have these things and then learn it iterative on the way. But it's like it's a journey to get there. Thank you.
Lovely stuff. Yeah, we can ask one more question.
Yeah. So I have two questions. That's okay.
Make them quick.
First one, yeah, really quick. So hi everyone. No, first one is your work is obviously pretty incredible, but I suppose the main question I'm thinking is, do you work for cups of coffee, or possibly even tea, with maybe 1 spoon of sugar thrown in? And my second question is just, I don't know if you've seen the trailer for Poverty Inc. I don't know if anybody here has seen it, but I think it's going to be an incredible documentary, but it basically talks about how a lot of enterprises and social businesses now have kind of made their money off of the back of being perceived to be, purposeful driven, but they're actually not. So I mean, a lot of what you spoke about is being very genuine and sincere to that. So how would you kind of, how would you say people need to kind of move more towards that, rather than kind of being seen to do good work, but to really, really think about the impact of the work that they do?
So, first to answer your question, I drink tea, but very
man of my own heart.
I actually don't like the taste of coffee, but that's another story. So for me, that whole thing is about truth, right? And what I believe in business too is there's a lot of way to cover it up, but if you're really honestly true with what you do, people feel it. And through the internet, even more of these companies that just do it because it's a good opportunity will fall through. Unfortunately, it also requires the people who buy from these companies to wake up a little bit to this and be conscious themselves. So I believe we're currently in this transition period where more and more people become aware. And there's so many corporate responsibility programs out there saying, oh, we're doing good for every whatever, you get this. But the reality is, what I found with these entrepreneurs, they're real. Like when you really have and work with them to define their purpose, which is much of the work that I'm doing, you can feel it in the room. And I personally, I reject working with people where I don't feel that. So, but this is a personal decision. I still think, for example, when a company like Walmart becomes more greener, it's an important step. So even if I don't believe at all that these guys are driven by the heart, but also by the economics around it, it's still a good thing to do. So I think every change is good. So everybody moving in that direction. But if somebody trying to trick somebody, then we're in the old paradigm of manipulating people. But if you create something meaningful, even in a company structure like Walmart or whatever, that you know, like that are going into the space, but you do it meaningfully, I think that's fine. Would I work with them? Personally not. But maybe not at this stage, who knows what's happening, because I think every change is good. I just believe when it comes from the heart, this is what we really need, and this is what will be successful ultimately.
Lovely stuff. Thank you so much. Yeah, give it up for Stefan, everyone. Thank you.